I'm not seeing anyone right now. Guys are jerks.
God, I know, right? Guys are the worst.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man.
Brother, this guy stinks!
So if you haven't heard about Regular Show, you've probably been living on the rock. But just in case you don't know, Regular Show is a cartoon about a talking bird and raccoon working at a park with a talking gumball machine, a lollipop man, a fat green man, a ghost, and a immortal yeti. Pretty regular. Regular Show is definitely considered a part of the big tree of Cartoon Network, amongst the likes of Adventure Time and The Amazing World of Gumball. But if I had to rate these three shows, I'm putting Regular Show in second place. And the reason for that is pretty simple. This bird nigga named Mordecai. My nigga Mordecai been a simp before the word simp even existed. He really killed his best friend over some bird puss. I remember when I used to come back from school ready to watch some Cartoon Network, and we got a Regular Show episode where Mordecai is giving a speech at Muscle Man wedding talking about his relationship problems. That shit made me cringe so bad, I had to change the channel to Paw Patrol. Now don't get me wrong, Regular Show is still better than whatever garbage Cartoon Network is airing now. I just personally don't like the episodes that center around Mordecai's love life. Other than that, Regular Show is a 9.5 out of 10, for sure. So in this video, I'll be reviewing Mordecai's love life. So, without further ado. So there's this one episode where Mordecai tries to ask Margaret out to the movies, but he keeps stalling and his friend Rigby was making her laugh, which made my nigga Mordecai pretty jealous. Since Mordecai kept fumbling, Rigby asked her out instead, which she accepted. So for the entire day, Rigby rubbed that shit in Mordecai's face. Trying to make Rigby late to the date, Mordecai decided to microwave all the clocks in the house, causing them to warp into some time vortex thingy. They start arguing about the whole situation. Then this nigga Mordecai got pissed and straight up killed Rigby, all over some bird punani. This nigga really broke the #1 rule of bro code. Never let a woman come between your relationship. Father Time gave Mordecai a chance to redo, and he decided to just go to the movies with Rigby. Then there's this episode when Mordecai asked Rigby to go out with a girl named Eileen just so he could go out with Margaret. Because Rigby didn't want to go out with Eileen, Mordecai had to do Rigby 10 solids. So the entire time they were out, Rigby used those solids to embarrass Mordecai. Not gonna lie, this nigga Rigby a asshole. Turns out Margaret only went out with them so Eileen could hook up with Rigby, meaning she doesn't want to fuck Mordecai. But there was this one episode when Mordecai and Rigby 2v2 Muscle Man and High Five Ghosts in basketball to use a computer to create a website for Margaret. In the end they won and she said Mordecai looked pretty hot. A win is a win, my brother. Your hard work paid off, you got a compliment. Then there's this other episode when Mordecai and Rigby went out with Margaret and Eileen again. While Mordecai and Margaret was in the car alone, they kissed. But that bliss was short-lived cause that nigga Mordecai breath stank. So he tried to go back in time using a time machine to give himself some breath mints. In the end, he just decided not to kiss her. Then there's this episode when Mordecai went to ask Margaret out on a date, but saw her with another bird nigga being all giddy and shit. So Mordecai went into a deep depression and changed his profile picture to Bart Simpson sad and listened to Juice WRLD 24/7. Rigby convinced him to start online dating and move on, and that's when he met a cloud girl named CJ. At first things was awkward, but eventually they started to get along and he even asked her out to the movies. When everything was going well and he was finally moving on, he ran into Margaret and her supposed lover, and he went right back to his Bart Simpson sad phase. Benson convinced Mordecai to just confess to her. Turns out Margaret's supposed boyfriend was just her cousin, so Mordecai asked her out to the movies. Then that cloud girl caught him talking to Margaret and turned into a fucking hurricane. In the end, he ended up going to the movies with Margaret's cousin. Then we got an episode when Mordecai and Rigby went out again with Margaret and Eileen to watch a meteor shower. Mordecai plans to make a move on Margaret cause last time she was the one to make the move. After some awkward small talk and a therapy session from a meteor, Mordecai finally made a move and kissed Margaret. After dating Margaret for a while, he planned to ask her to be his girlfriend. He planned to ask her at a steakhouse called Steak Me on a Date or something like that, which she agreed to. While Mordecai was on his date, he eventually got into a shootout with Freddy Fazbear, and that's when Mordecai asked Margaret to be his girlfriend. But she rejected the offer because she had to go off to college. Hey man, at least she liked him. After the whole breakup thing with Margaret, there was this one episode when Mordecai kissed what he thought was a random girl at a New Year's Eve party, but turns out it was the cloud girl he went out with that one time. She ran away never to be seen again. Until that episode when the park was competing in a dodgeball tournament. The cloud girl was competing as well. Mordecai and the cloud girl was avoiding each other for the entire tournament until it was just her and Mordecai. They got transported to some dodgeball universe thingy and had an intervention with some dodgeball people in golden robes, and now they are friends. They eventually become more than friends in the episode called I Like You High. But after dating for a while, there was this one episode where Eileen was hosting a Christmas party and Mordecai was gonna go with the cloud girl since they're together and shit. But plot twist, Mordecai's ex, Margaret, was gonna be there. So you know my nigga Mordecai is gonna pull a Mordecai. While at the party, Mordecai kissed Margaret and the cloud girl saw that and ran off. This nigga Mordecai a real heartbreaker. I see you. In the episode Sad Sacks, Mordecai tries to win the cloud girl's love back after the kiss incident. He was given terrible advice by a nigga playing the sax, making himself look like a fool, but after listening to his mother's advice by doing something grand, he apologized using Christmas lights and she gives him another chance. Then there's this episode when Mordecai, Rigby and Eileen were invited to Margaret's father's 1000 shopper flight party, and the entire time Mordecai was there, he was trying to avoid Margaret because of the whole kiss situation. After getting into Margaret's father's chopper, they finally start talking. As tension was starting to clear, lo and behold, the cloud girl comes out of nowhere and sees them laughing together on a chopper. Without question asked, the cloud girl turns into a hurricane again until Margaret reveals she has a boyfriend, which calms the cloud girl down. Turns out she was lying, she didn't have a boyfriend, she basically made all that up to calm down the cloud bitch, but she still has feelings for my nigga Mordecai. Now we got the infamous episode dumped at the altar, when Mordecai made himself look like a fool in front of everyone talking about,
"Where's my soulmate?"
fuck out of here, bro. That shit for females, bro, like come on now. In the end, the cloud girl dumped him, he stayed in the friend zone with Margaret, and ended up settling with a Batwoman. The end. So yeah, that's a cringe love life of Mordecai. Honestly, after rewatching regular show to make this video, it was definitely one of the best kids cartoon ever, not gonna lie. Before I close this video, I would like to make an announcement. IXRG will be streaming on Christmas Eve and the day of Christmas. This is gonna be my first ever live stream. I'm hoping at least 5 of you niggas decide to join. Let's just hope my internet could handle it. I'll keep you updated by Saturday. So anyway, I'll see you when I see you. Peace.